It had been a slow Tuesday, the kind where the clock seemed to tick backward, each minute an hour. She was a young woman, barely 24, with eyes that held the weight of responsibilities far beyond her years. Amelia was putting herself through nursing school, working double shifts to cover the tuition and the medical bills for her younger brother, Leo, who needed constant, expensive care for a rare heart condition. Their parents were gone, leaving Amelia as Leo's sole guardian and lifeline. The diner was her second home, a place of routine and predictability. The regulars were kind, the hours long, but it paid the bills. She always wore a bright smile for the customers, even when her heart felt heavy with worry over Leo's next surgery, a massive financial burden looming in the coming months. Around 8 p.m., a sleek, black town car pulled up outside. A man in a finely tailored suit, the fabric so smooth it seemed to defy gravity, stepped out. He was tall, with distinguished gray hair and a calm, commanding presence. This was Arthur Sterling, the tech billionaire known globally for his philanthropic endeavors but a quiet, intensely private man in his day-to-day life. He was just passing through town, his private jet having a minor mechanical issue at the nearby small airport, forcing an unexpected layover. He simply wanted a quiet meal. Away from the hustle of five-star dining and business associates. Arthur sat at Amelia's section, booth number 3. He ordered the meatloaf special and a coffee. Amelia, treating him with the same genuine kindness she offered every customer, refilled his cup and engaged in a brief, light conversation about the weather. She had no idea who he was. To her, he was just another patron in need of a good meal and a warm smile. Arthur, accustomed to people either fawning over his wealth or trying to use him, found her simple authenticity refreshing. He observed her quiet efficiency, the gentle way she interacted with other elderly customers, and the subtle weariness around her eyes she tried so hard to hide. As the evening wore on, Arthur finished his meal. When he asked for the check, he was in the middle of a complex, stressful text negotiation about a multi-million-dollar charity project launched the following week. Preoccupied and distracted, he pulled out his money clip, peeled off several large bills, covered the check, and left without a word, his face buried in his phone. Amelia approached the table a moment later to clear it. She picked up the check folder and noticed a large stack of cash left behind. Her breath hitched. There, mixed in with a few smaller bills, was a crisp, new $1,000 bill, a denomination she'd rarely, if ever, seen in person. In total, a staggering $1,050. Her mind raced. The man was a stranger, clearly well off judging by his suit and the fancy car waiting outside. He must have forgotten it, or perhaps thought the sum appropriate for a huge tab. But it was far too much for a $12.99 meatloaf special and coffee. Her immediate instinct, the one driven by her financial desperation, screamed at her to keep it. This one mistake could pay for Leo's medication for an entire month, maybe even cover a consultation with the specialist. It was a godsend, a miracle. She could simply pocket it, and no one would be the wiser. The diner was quiet, the manager in the back. No cameras pointed at her from that angle, but a stronger voice, the one ingrained in her by her parents, a voice of honesty and integrity that had been her compass through every hardship, spoke louder. It was not her money. The man, no matter how rich, had left it by accident. If she kept it, she would be no better than a thief. She thought of Leo and realized she couldn't build her brother's future on a lie, on someone else's mistake. She wanted to face every challenge with her head held high, just as her parents had taught her. Without a second thought, she tucked the money safely into her apron pocket and ran for the door. The black car was just starting to pull away. Amelia sprinted across the parking lot, waving her hands wildly. The driver, confused, stopped the car. Amelia reached the window, panting, her heart pounding in her chest. Arthur Sterling looked up, annoyed at the interruption, and rolled down the window. "Yes. Sir, you left this on the table," Amelia said, holding out the $1,000 bill and the smaller ones, her voice trembling slightly from the exertion and the significance of her action. "It's all here." Arthur stared at the money, then at her. He saw the genuine sincerity in her eyes, the honesty that shone through her exhaustion. He remembered her from inside, the simple, kind waitress who didn't know who he was. He was struck silent by her integrity. In a world full of people driven by greed, Here was a young woman who chose the harder, more honest path even when the temptation was immense. He slowly took the money from her, his expression unreadable. "Thank you," he said quietly. Amelia simply nodded, catching her breath, relieved to have done the right thing. She turned and walked back to the diner, the weight of her financial struggles still present, but the weight of her conscience light. The next day, Arthur Sterling returned to the Sunrise Diner. Amelia was working the lunch shift. He sat in her section again. When she approached the table, he smiled. "I wanted to ask you something, Amelia," he said, using the name from her name tag. "Why did you run after me with that money last night? $1,000 is a lot to just give back, especially given how hard you seem to work." Amelia hesitated, then, feeling a strange trust in the man, opened up about her brother Leo, his condition, the nursing school, and her struggles. "It was hard, I won't lie," she admitted, her voice soft. "That money, it could have fixed so much for a little while. But it wasn't mine. Integrity is all I have left from my parents. I have to live by it, for myself and for Leo." Arthur listened intently. He saw a mirror of the determination and strength he valued in people. When she finished, he simply nodded. "You have a remarkable character, Amelia." 2 weeks later, Amelia received a letter in the mail. It was from the Arthur Sterling Foundation. Inside was a letter explaining that an anonymous benefactor had paid her nursing school tuition in full for the remainder of her degree. There was also a separate, significant donation made directly to the hospital foundation caring for Leo, specifically earmarked for his treatment and future surgeries. The attached note simply read, "Integrity is worth more than any sum of money. Never lose your light. A.S." Amelia wept with relief and gratitude. Her act of honesty, that one simple decision in a moment of temptation, had changed her life and her brother's forever, proving that doing the right thing, even when it's hard, always leads to the most profound rewards. The true richness in life wasn't measured in bank accounts, but in the unwavering strength of one's character. She went to work that night with a smile that reached her eyes, finally light and full of genuine hope for the future.